Hey, this is Taylor here at Truck World RVA. Today we're going to take some time and look at this 2016 Hino 338. It's got a 14-foot Atkins service body, an IMT 6025 crane with a 10,500 pound maximum lifting capacity, a two-stage hydraulic extension out to 25 feet of total reach. The truck has a little over 195,000 miles on it, a little over 8,000 hours. It's powered by the Hino J08E diesel engine, mated to an Allison automatic transmission. It does have air ride rear, and this truck is tagged under CDL weight. So even though it has a 14-foot bed, it's tagged as a 26,000 GVWR. Pretty clean truck all the way around. This is a one-owner truck, came out of a large fleet. This truck did originate out of the Southeast, so pretty free of any rust issues overall. Now, the goal of these videos is to show you everything about the truck as if you were here looking at it in person. So I'm going to take some time in the first half of the video. We'll go around the exterior of the truck. I'll point out any cosmetic imperfections I find. We'll look underneath the truck. We'll look inside all the bins. We'll look in the cab. In the second half of the video, I'll do a cold start. We'll look at the engine. I'll do a drive, and then we'll run all the equipment on it. So let's look real quick at the undercarriage. Again, nice and dry underneath. No rust really to speak of. In the frame rails, underside of the bins, or on the bed floor itself, that's just some mud and dirt caked up there, as you can see. But from a rust perspective, nice and dry. No concerns overall. Now, if you'd like any additional photos, videos, or information, feel free to call or text anytime at 804-716-8487. My goal is for reality and expectation to meet, so I want you to know everything about the truck before you come and look at it in person, so that when you see it, it's exactly what you were expecting. So again, if you need any additional photos, videos, or information, just give me a shout. I can send those over. You have a little chip here on the corner of the door. There's some grease stains there we can just wipe off just from getting in and out of the truck. Now, it does have power windows, cruise control. There's your dump valve for your air ride rear. Cruise control is right here. Air ride seat. The seat bottom and back are in good shape. No rips or tears. You do have a tear here on the driver's side armrest. The floor as well is in pretty decent shape. Looks like somebody's made some repairs at one point right here. A power inverter there, mounted on the back of the cab. Passenger seat as well is free of any rips or tears. The dash is clean. You have your power panel here that sends power back to the beds. All your lighting and your main power there. PTO switch. Now, we did not replace the steer tires, however, they have plenty of tread on them. And you do have some rock chips kind of all along the painted front bumper, kind of scattered all over there. The hood itself is clean and really free of any noticeable chips. A little bit of paint peel right here. You can see the cat logo still ghosted in there. We can try to get that out a little bit better, but it's probably going to always show a little bit unless the hood gets repainted. But again, most of the rock chips on the front are kind of centered around that front bumper there. You have your def tank, your DPF located under the passenger steps, missing the eye here. A couple more chips on the door. Just a bunch of minor little chips kind of scattered all over. Now, this truck has been fully serviced. It's turnkey, ready to go. There's nothing that this needs at the moment. Anything that we find on it, we address. We use all OEM parts when reconditioning our trucks. If you'd like a full list of anything that we've done to the truck prior to offering it for sale, just let me know. I can send that over to you. Have a dent and some chips in the body. Area of paint failure there. This front torch cabinet door kind of is the worst door of them all, just in terms of cosmetic issues. Now all the doors close, latch, lock, and seal as they should. We do have the bin keys and they're all keyed the same way. The factory paint on the bed is intact. This is not one that we've sandblasted and repainted. It shows pretty well as it is. You have your Easy Track inside of the torch compartment for securing your torch bottles. Rubber mat on the floor. Again, bin floor is nice and dry, and it does have lighting inside. All the compartments are lit. Now on the bed, it looks like there's some previous area of touch-up around here, and then right in here as well. This is where your crane rest sits. My assumption is that at some point they probably set that crane down on that rest and cracked this spot right here. Tried to touch that up. A couple more scratches along the bottom of this door, as well as some more chips along here. 3 total sets of shelving inside of this compartment. You have a little bit of surface rust coming through the body here. It's just from debris getting flung up from the tire. That's a very common area. Over top of this cross member, that debris gets trapped in there, and we'll push through the bed right there. Another chip right here. You do have some separation between the top of the bed and this drip edge. Along here, you can see that. Nothing penetrating through to the inside. It's just this exterior where this drip edge sits on here. That could probably just use a bead of caulk and that would solve that issue. But that's another spot just to point out. Again, my goal is to be as thorough as possible. I want you to know exactly what the truck is and for there to be no surprises. So I do nitpick a little bit, but I try to point out everything that I see. Some more chips along here, one more here, another chip right here. Nice and dry. The frame rails, the bed floor, again, nice and dry on the undercarriage. We did not replace these drive tires either, but they're in pretty good shape. We did put new aluminum rims on this truck. The crane compartment as well has some dings in it, as well as some paint failure. Kind of all along the crane compartment there. You do have hydraulic outriggers. They're controlled inside of the crane compartment. You have your outrigger controls down here. There is a factory wired remote. We do have a wireless aftermarket unit as well that's on the way, but that factory wired remote runs the crane, Railcraft hose reel, air regulator, and then here's a shot of your load chart. 10,500 pound capacity, 25 foot, 4-inch hydraulic extension. Coming around to the rear of the truck, you have your workbench storage boxes. Nice pass-through storage there. Steps on the rear, as well as a tow hitch receiver. Pretty large work deck bumper. Some rear work lights. Now inside of the bed, this is a retractable soft cover enclosure. You can see the rails that it retracts on both sides. So tons of nice dry storage inside of there. It's obviously not secure because it is just a soft cover. However, that's a great way to keep your tools out of the elements. Now that's obviously very easy to remove, so if that's something you do not want, we can remove that prior to sale. No problem at all. Some more paint failure here around the driver rear compartment. And a couple more rock chips, and you got a scratch that runs down here that way. Inside the driver rear compartment, you have 2 more sets of shelves. Some paint failure around the wheel shock holders. A little bit of paint failure along this bottom hinge here. One shelf inside the driver wheel well compartment. Some dividers inside of here. It does have a mount up top, so you can easily mount a welder to that. I don't think there are any more holes drilled in the top of the boxes. Again, the boxes are all watertight, and being able to mount the welder right to here, you don't have to drill any additional holes to mount that, which is nice. Inside the driver 3 compartment, you have 3 more sets of shelves. Driver 2 compartment, you have a set of Atkins center grip drawers. Whoop. There we go. That drawer slides nice once you free it up a little bit. It was just a little stuck. Now the compressor's an RC40, shows about 14 hours on it. And again, in the second half of the video, we'll run all the equipment, including the crane and the compressor. Finally, the driver 1 compartment has another full set. There's a little latch on the inside of that door of sliding Atkins drawers. Let's see. So it looks like that one slides okay. We'll hit some of these drawers that are more stuck with some lubricant, get them freed up. Most of these drawers slide fine. We'll get them all sliding the way they should. That bottom one's really the only one that needs a little lubrication there, but we'll get it back to sliding the way it should. That top one too could use a little help. Another reason I like doing these videos, it allows me one last look at the truck. We're able to catch any little details that still need to be addressed. So again, we'll lubricate those slides. That wraps up the cosmetic portion of this demo video. I'm gonna hop in the truck and take it for a quick spin, and then we'll run all the equipment on it. 194, 535 on the miles. Again, it's an air ride rear, Allison Auto. One thing I like about these Hinos is the cab is nice and boxy. You have an insane amount of headroom. Also, the visibility all around the cab is great. You sit up pretty high on the road, you can see there's tons of visibility. You're just in a big glass box, it feels like. And again, tons of headroom in the cab as well. My seats aired pretty much all the way up. And there's still probably more than a foot between my head and the headliner here. And for reference, I'm about 6 feet tall, so Now, as for the lighting on the truck, you have front-mounted strobes inside of the grille. Again, all the compartments have interior compartment lighting as well. You have one side mount work light mounted right behind the compressor. Lighting inside all the compartments. Rear strobes and 2 rear work lights, LED work lights on the rear. One more side mount LED work light on the passenger side. Outriggers are controlled right here off these levers. Super quick action on the outriggers. Outriggers are now fully deployed. Let's run out the crane. Now again, I do have an aftermarket wireless remote. This is a wired unit. It is factory, so it does have a lot more functionality. You can idle the engine up. The trigger controls the speed. Now it's a 6025 IMT model crane. Excellent speed control off the trigger. What I'm realizing now is to be able to rotate around, I do need to move that tarp out of the way. Might be able to miss it if I go around this way. Move that cylinder out of the way here. Crane operation's super quick. The crane is super smooth as well. These older IMT cranes are just solid. They just work. If you're familiar with the old 6025 IMTs. I'm going to unshackle this pulley block now, and then we'll run the crane all the way out to its maximum extension. Very quick winch operation. Again, the speed control is excellent. It's very fast, full speed, but you can really feather that trigger. The trigger's tight, has a lot of play in it to feather. The speed, obviously helpful when you're setting a load to be able to control that speed well. Let's check the tube lock and see if it's operational. Tube lock is not operational. That's something we can address. We can obviously fix that. Switch safety on it, we keep those in stock. It's another thing I will notate and take care of. That's out to its full extension here. Inner boom is nice and clean down both sides. Wear pads have plenty of thickness left in them. With the crane out to its full extension, it reaches over the front of the truck. winch cable is clean. That winch is super quick in its operation. Now, just to give you an idea of the speed control, I'm just going to ever so slightly pull the trigger here. So you can really feather that speed and just inch it up. So really nice control on that trigger. It's got a lot of levels of control to it, and obviously a very quick crane when you let it go full speed. Now you can also start and stop the truck from the remote as well. Shut the truck off. Turn the truck back on. So once again, this is a 2016 Hino 338 under CDL weight with a 10,500 pound IMT crane, 14-foot Atkins service body, plenty of lighting all the way around, a little under 195,000 miles. If you have any questions, feel free to call or text 804-716-8487. Again, this is Taylor at Truck World RVA, and I appreciate you taking the time to watch this video.